Mr. Speaker, huge efforts have been made over the last 2 years, and we would not be where we are today without the heroism of our NHS and key workers, those who pioneered and rolled out the vaccines, and the sacrifices that people made every day to follow the rules and protect our public health. We must honour the collective sacrifices of the British people and do everything possible to prevent a return to the loss and lockdowns we've seen over the last 2 years. The Prime Minister promised to present a plan for living with COVID, but all we've got today is yet more chaos and disarray. Not enough to prepare us for the new variants which may yet develop, an approach which seems to think that living with COVID means simply ignoring it. This morning, he couldn't even persuade his own Health Secretary to agree the plan. So what confidence can the public have that this is the right approach? Mr. Speaker, let me be clear. The Labour Party does not want to see restrictions in place for a moment longer than necessary. But, Mr. Speaker, we have to take the public with us, and that requires clarity.
Order. If you can't show the respect that I expect the Prime Minister to be heard inside, I expect the Leader of the Opposition. If you don't wish to be in here, there's plenty of room outside this chamber. I suggest you start using it, and I'll be helping you on your way. So let's have silence. Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, we have to take the public with us, and that requires clarity about why decisions are being made. So will the Prime Minister publish the scientific evidence behind his decision to remove the legal requirement to self-isolate, including the impact on the clinically extremely vulnerable, for whom lockdown has never ended? Having come this far, I know the British people will continue to act responsibly, and they will do the right thing, testing and then isolating if positive. What I can't understand is why the Prime Minister is taking away the tools that will help them to do that. Free tests can't continue forever, but if you're 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go, you don't sub off one of your best defenders. The Prime Minister is also removing self-isolation support payments that allow many people to isolate and weakening sick pay. These are decisions which will hit the lowest paid and the most insecure workers the hardest, including care workers who got us through the toughest parts of the pandemic. It's all very well advising workers to self-isolate, but that won't work unless all workers have the security of knowing that they can afford to do so. The Prime Minister mentioned surveillance and the ONS infection survey. This is crucial to ensuring that we can ramp up testing and vaccination if the virus returns. So can the Prime Minister confirm that he has put the funding in place to ensure that the ONS infection survey will not see reduced capacity and that it will be able to track the virus with the same degree of detail as it can today? We can't turn off Britain's radar before the war is won. Ignorance is bliss is not a responsible approach to a deadly virus. It actually risks undoing all the hard-won progress the British people have achieved over the last 2 years. Mr. Speaker, the Labour Party has published a comprehensive plan for living well with COVID. Our plan would see us learn the lessons of the past 2 years and prepared for new variants. His approach will leave us vulnerable. Where's the plan to secure the UK's supply of testing? Why are schools still not properly ventilated? As a nation, there is no doubt we need to move on from COVID. People need to know their liberties are returning and returning for good. But this is a half-baked announcement from a government paralysed by chaos and incompetence. It is not a plan to live well with COVID. Thank you.